You can load up questions if you want. As a player, you can load, if you want me to join the quest, join it and ask specific questions.
Oh, I see. So I could send you a message. Hang on.
That means it is started, by the way.
Hello? I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything.
You're not supposed to be able to.
Yeah, so you won't be able to hear anyone.
I won't be able to. What about when they ask a question?
Fine. So do you want to, you can only have space.
Oh, I'm talking though. Oh, I see. Yes, I'm talking, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Clearly. It's not sweet. Oh, yes, because you're near me. Yes, with that. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah?
you. I'm also hearing me.
There's feedback.
It's not good for your headphones.
Last time we didn't have pictures. So it's recording.
Already? So can people see us doing that?
If they're watching, if you turn it off.
Why not?
Oh, there you go. So where you see select microphone,
Yeah.
go down. Yeah, that one.
On?
I think so. That should be your headset.
It's recording as well. Okay, participants 3.
Hello.
It's going, hello, hello, hello.
I can still hear myself.
Maybe it's because you're on.
As long as we stay quiet.
Well, that's really quiet.
Yeah. Hang on, let me look.
No, a couple of the 3 participants in there means that somebody else is watching.
No, it could be you.
No, we've only got one person and then that one, so there's somebody else.
Okay. I won't mention Manila people.
So I can't see the
So we don't know who it is.
Nope.
So how do I let people, hang on, 4 people, 4 participants host, but we don't know who they are, do we? Share screen?
No, that's good.
I don't do short shares.
Right, hang on. Just click this button a minute. Yeah.
And I have to go to start.
Okay.
Oh, feedback. So, okay,
You all know.
I'm on. Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me? If you could just put in chat if you can hear me or not. We're going to start. I'm not sure if you can all hear. Yay. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Tell me if the sound's too low. Hi, Angela, David, Francine, Ian. Hello. Oh, Ian first. Ian and some others. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, everyone. So we are going to start. We're hoping to get this done in about an hour. But if you've got any questions, please do send them into chat. We may not be able to answer all of them, but we'll start with some topics. And you guys may want to follow through from that. And yeah, anything else, please send them in. We are going to record this. So if there's any other questions that we can't get through today, you can send them in. And if we've got time and anyone wants to sort of chat, we can try and add you in. We've got Rebecca over the other side that some of you may know, and Connor helping us on the techie side, because I'm terrible, some of you may know. So basically we are talking about lockdown and the impact of how it's affected us or rescues, particularly animal charities or dog charities, since 2019. So we're going to sort of start off with that subject. And before we do that, just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We haven't seen you for so long, and obviously we still don't know when we can do any live events. So we just wanted to say hi to everyone. Thanks to all of you that have been supporting us and our work in whatever way. So thank you guys all for joining us tonight, and hopefully we will be able to see you all again in the flesh soon. So we'll start off with the first subject, and sorry if I miss anyone out. And of course it's the loveliest, the best day of the year so far. It's the warmest day. So thank you for sort of missing out on a nice summer evening for those of you that could have been sitting outside or walking your dog in the park. So we will start with maybe that subject, walking your dog in the park. So March, a year ago, practically, nearly just over a year, the announcement was made by Boris that we would have to go into lockdown, and we were panicking, thinking, oh my God, all these dogs, what's going to happen? Everyone's going to abandon their dogs, because there was talk about some dogs possibly carrying corona. And we thought there's going to be redundancies and blah, blah, blah. And we were sitting, bracing ourselves for this sudden abundance of extra dogs coming into rescue. And I would imagine that some of the other charities were as well. And we are, just so you know, we are in touch. We do keep in touch with Battersea and Mayhew and the other rescues. So we're aware of kind of what's going on in rescue world, and particularly in London, because there tends to be patterns in different parts of the countries. So there we were, waiting for all these dogs to come in because of lockdown. And actually what happened was the complete reverse. All the dogs that we had left in kennels that had been with us for a while, suddenly people were amazing. We were getting emails, literally came into hundreds of emails from people saying, oh my gosh, can we help? We're at home now. Have you got any dogs that need fostering? We're here to help, do whatever we can. So dogs that we would normally have had been in for a couple of months in kennels, suddenly literally all went out within a week or so, because we managed to get them picked up within guidelines of people meeting them. And it was great. And consequently, nearly all those dogs got adopted or stayed with their foster carers. So that was fantastic. So we're grateful. Great, we've got more room for all these dogs to come in, but actually no dogs, no calls. And some of you may think, or people have thought, oh, that's fantastic, there's no dogs in rescue. They go on websites and they can't see any dogs, and probably thinking that's great. You know, dogs aren't coming into rescue, so all these dogs have been rehomed. But actually, no, that's probably not ideally what we would like to see, because where are all these dogs going? We've suddenly, since lockdown, had an obsession with buying puppies. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed the rise, particularly in sort of hypoallergenic breeds like cockapoos, appearing everywhere. So people started buying puppies. They were at home, they had more time. So suddenly people thought, great, this is a perfect time to get a dog in, let's get a dog. And the demand got higher and higher. And with that, prices online got higher and higher. So the average price for a dog in a year ago to buy a dog online was probably about £500, let's say, for example. The current price now is about £5,000, which I'm sure some of you may have seen. So if you go on websites such as Pets for Home, Gumtree, dogs are fetching on average from £1,000 to £5,000. We actually saw an advert last week for French Bulldog puppies being sold on Pets at Home in Hackney for £10,000. Yep, you're not mishearing me, £10,000. So what does that mean for charities? And more importantly, where does it leave these animals and these dogs? And this is probably happening with cats as well, but obviously cats haven't got such a high retail value. But where does this leave dogs? And what does that mean for us and owners? So what we have noticed is we are still, of course, getting dogs in. Numbers are down. So we normally would have in 25 to 30 dogs a month on average, and we would probably rehome out of 30 dogs, 25 a month, and the others may hang around a little bit longer. So dogs that are coming in, the plus is that dogs that are coming in, there's more people that want them. So when they do come in, they've got more chance of getting rehomed and getting rehomed a lot quicker, because for one dog, there'll probably be 20 applications. We put a dog on our website this afternoon called Hannah, a beautiful Staffy lurcher that came in. She was picked up by one of the dog wardens. And after being on there for, I don't know, a couple of hours, we've had 5 applications for her. So obviously we're not going to just give her to anyone who applies for her, but a lot of those people have been waiting for a dog. Some people have been waiting and on the waiting list for about 6 months, because they really don't want to get into the whole buying concept of dogs, and they would rather rescue. The other slight problem with that is that a lot of people that do want to rescue and don't want to buy have been seeing adverts for dogs advertised from abroad, from Romania, Cyprus, and various countries, which is great. But we do get probably on average, I don't know, Rebecca, what do you think, 2 or 3 calls at least a week from people that have adopted or bought dogs from abroad, particularly the sort of Eastern European countries. It's not worked out. And then when they do want to give that dog back to the rescue or the Facebook group, ordinarily, there's no rescue backup. And often those dogs want to come, people want to bring them back because they've bitten. We had a call yesterday, I think, was it yesterday? Someone got a dog from abroad and the dog bit their 2-year-old who had to go to hospital. And you would kind of ask yourself, why would you put what was principally probably a street dog from Romania or Eastern Europe with a family with a 2-year-old with no testing whatsoever? At least we have that facility at our kennels that we can test dogs, and we wouldn't put a stray dog with a child under 10 years old unless we had some history. So sorry, I digressed slightly. So dogs are coming in, numbers are down, the amount of dogs coming in, which isn't necessarily a plus, because the retail price for dogs is so much that when people buy them and for whatever reason no longer want them, it can't be that, I think it's estimated 3.2 million new pets have been registered since lockdown in a year. It can't be that those 3 million, let's say, give or take, have all kept that dog and it's worked out for all those families. But because people have paid up to £5,000, they want at least half of that money back. And a lot of these puppy farmers, where most of these dogs are coming from, have wisened up to that, whereas before they wouldn't refund money, or they would change their SIM cards. If you try to call that breeder or seller up, as I like to call them, with a problem, they would have changed a SIM card on their phone, so you can't get in contact with them. They've now wised up, and they're saying to their buyers, if you don't want that dog, it doesn't work out, bring it back and we'll give you half your money back. So they can then resell it on, because there's the market out there, and they can resell that dog on. So they've sold it twice, even if they get half the money in on the second sale of that particular dog. So basically, dogs have become a commodity. We've also seen a rise in dog theft for that reason. So instead of stealing a Rolex watch, for example, or a car, you know, it's much easier to steal a dog, because I think it's now a crime, but before there was a very sort of, it was very loose on the law that a dog was a chattel. And I think it's been up now to, it's so bad, dog theft, that it's now organized crime. So it's good in a way that people, that the police have taken that on board, and just obviously everyone be really careful, particularly with younger dogs, or we're trying to tell people that have got younger, cuter dogs, just to be a little bit more careful when they are out and about with them. I can see, I'm just going to digress. There's one question that's come in from Sora. Your Romanian dog, yes, I know, Sora, you got one, but you got one from Great, which was fantastic, because you got one from an actual rescue, a registered charity that we work with. They share our kennels, and they are the one of the few charities that bring dogs in from abroad. They're called Love Underdog, and they share our kennels with us as well in Waltham Abbey. And they're great because the dogs come into Love Underdog, they're assessed there, they don't go straight out, and they have proper rescue backup. And you have to meet the dog a couple of times. If you have a dog, you have to meet them as well. So yes, of course there are some groups, but just there are also a lot of Facebook groups that are just bringing dogs in, well-meaning. I'm sure the intentions are good to save these dogs from abroad, but it can go wrong. There's also another question from Angelica. Hi, Angelica, how are you? A friend, Angela's saying that a friend of theirs checked Gumtree just out of curiosity and found nearly 500 dogs under a year old for sale due to owners realizing they don't have time for them. So yeah, the other problem, not only are puppies being sold for ridiculous amounts of money online, because dogs are generally worth more money, older dogs are also being sold. So people that would have ordinarily brought their dogs into rescue centres, to us or to Battersea, are selling their dogs. Old staffies that we couldn't even home a year ago, people are selling for £300 just to get some money in. And what's happening, that particularly with the older dogs, when they are coming into us, they've got a lot more health issues. So we are seeing that most dogs that are coming in have got severe behavioural issues. So we may get calls from people saying, I bought an American Bulldog, it's just bit me, or someone or a friend, can you come and get it now? I don't want it. We now ask them if they've tried to rehome that dog privately before contacting a rescue, and most of them will say, yes, we have, but it's come back. Can you come and get it now? Literally, can you come and get it now? The answer is usually no, we can't come and get it now, but if we can help, we will take it in. But unfortunately, by the time you offer them a space to bring the dog in, they either say, don't drive, can't get there, or they've resold it again. So dogs, older dogs are being multiple sold online. There was a dog that we heard about through one of the dog wardens we work with, that because he was still chipped to his owner, which in theory you think, great, a dog's chipped to his owner, so if he goes missing, he can go back to his owner. The owner kept getting him back. He'd sold him. It didn't work out with one family he'd sold the dog to. It was an American Bulldog, I think, as well, or a Mastiff. The dog went back to him via the dog wardens. He sold it again. It came back to him again, and he sold it again until the fourth time. I'm not sure what happened, but the dog ended up with the dog wardens. And at that point, the owner said he didn't want it back again. But it had turned over £1,000 for this particular owner, who just got away with that scot-free. It's all untaxed. HMRC aren't looking into all these people selling dogs online for thousands and thousands of pounds, all cash. We're getting calls from people saying, can you help? I transferred £1,000 deposit for a dog online on PayPal, and now the people aren't replying to me. So it's quite, there's some quite dangerous people out there. There's a lot of scammers out there. So you'd think that by now people would have learned not to sort of transfer money online to purchase a dog, which is really, really sad. So I'm looking at your questions and chats. There's a few coming in, but I'm going to just carry on. So dogs that are coming into us. So we are still getting dogs. Before lockdown, or this year, on average, we'd get in 25, 30 dogs. So far, we have had in about 70 dogs this year, out of which about 50 have been rehomed, and there's always 20 on foster or in kennels. But most of those dogs that do come in will need a lot more vet care. So they're coming in when people can't afford or don't want to, have got them secondhand and weren't told that they need a dental. So lots of the old dogs are coming in with like the worst mouths that some of our vets have seen. So the average price for a dental to us is between £300 and £500, but privately that would probably be £1,000. Bitches that are coming in that have had multiple litters, are really weak, underweight, have mastitis, are very, very stressed, of course, as well. Which kind of comes back to the puppy farming side of things, that we're sort of trying to say to people when they are buying these puppies, please just think of the dogs that you're leaving behind, or the mums you're leaving behind. I'm not sure, I think Mark was going to join us, but I'm not sure if he's on. But, you know, we are trying to say to people, you know, please think of the dogs behind, because I've done a bit of my own research. And when I see people with these puppies, I kind of ask them, oh, where did you get your dog? And they say, oh, we just saw it advertised. And I'm like, well, have you researched it? Have you thought about the mom? And they're like, well, the average answer sadly is, we wanted it, we don't really care, that was our decision, we wanted it, and that's up to us. Which for us, animal and rescue, you know, us kind of group that are genuinely into rescue and are quite angry about that, the average person kind of wants what they want, and it's, instead of buying something on Amazon or on any online shop, a dog is just a drop off. You see it advertised, you ring up, and it's within an hour or two, it's dropped off to you. So dogs coming in a lot more stressed, a lot more separation anxiety, a lot more behavioural issues, and just vet fees. Sadly, we've had a few dogs in that haven't even made it. They've come in so sick that by the time we get them in, we have had to put some to sleep just for humane reasons, like Frankie. Some of you guys may have seen Frankie, who we've had on our website for a while. We've been treating her for 3 months, and her weight went down even more today. She started throwing up, and we took her to the vet, and all her organs had packed up. And we were told on compassionate grounds that the kindest thing we could do was to let her go. So costing a lot more money, without being able to obviously do any events. And this isn't a fundraiser, so don't please take that as I'm asking for money, but I'm just trying to explain to you from a charity's point of view that people see less dogs coming in and think it's good, but actually it's actually costing more money to keep things going. Right, I've got another question here from M. Hurst. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hi Em, yes, you emailed in earlier. Do you think there needs to be a piece of legislation such as a license to make sure that dogs are going to good homes and that they're regularly checked up on after to see if they are coping in their new homes? Really good question. And yes, we would love to see some legislation, but sadly, it's just not happening. In rescues, we can, to a degree, legislate ourselves. So people often say, well, how do you know if they're a nice family? How do you know that they're not going to rehome the dog or kill the dog or beat the dog up? So we've been doing this for 10 years. So we have an idea of the sort of families we're looking for each dog, and we do vet them. Another thing that has changed since lockdown is that obviously charities can't home check. So we are now doing virtual and Facebook home checks. So if someone does apply for a dog, and the other charities are doing this as well, and it's been suggested on the sort of gov.com websites, to have videos of everyone's gardens from inside the house, so we know it's just not a random garden. We like to see all the family, and that way we know that the family do live there, and if the garden is fully secure, and if it's not, they have to fix all panels and then do another video before the dog can go. Depending on the dog, they'd have to meet it a couple of times. A lot of people have had, because we've been going for 11 years, a lot of people are on their second dogs from us. So we'll always prioritize people that have had dogs from us before. And most people that genuinely want to rescue are really, really nice. We are getting calls. We get lots of calls. You got any puppies in? People ring up and go, got any puppies in? Those calls we literally are just not taking, or we'll say, sorry, no, because we don't want people that just want puppies. We want people that, it's a lot of, a lot of you will know, it's hard work to take on, in some cases, a rescue dog, and you've got to be really committed. It's not all roses. It's a lot of work. It's expensive in vet fees in some cases. So yes, we would like legislation, Emma. The other huge problem we've noticed this year is that a lot of groups are setting up as rescues from home. So anyone can set up as a rescue in theory. You won't be able to get dogs from councils. So dog wardens wouldn't give dogs to people working from home, but there's lots of groups, lost and found groups, that often are doing great work and meaning well, but they're picking up dogs, not returning them to owners, not telling dog wardens in certain boroughs that these dogs have been picked up, and they're often getting lost in the system, and they're kind of creating their own rules, so we can't control that. So we are urging people to please bring dogs into charities. Yes, they might spend a week in kennels, but at least when they have gone, you know that to a degree that's been it's been regulated and there's backup. And we're not just going to give a dog to anyone. We can keep the chips in our name. If the dog needs vet care, they can come back into that charity, hopefully, or we'll be honest and let at least the owners know what vet care is needed for that dog. So with Frankie, we didn't send her out for adoption. She's been on foster for 3 months because we didn't feel it would be fair enough for anyone to have taken her on with all her issues, which was basically absorption. She couldn't absorb any food, plus she was anemic, plus she'd probably never seen a vet before. So we will be honest about that, as you'd hope all the charities. So I hope that answers your question, Em. And if you do have any other questions on that or anyone else, please feel free to send them in, or we'll get back to you tomorrow. I'm just going to have a look if there's something. David Kerr, hi David. Do we think that supply and demand will eventually apply basically, and demand will through to the market, will cool down to lower prices and rescues become a real option? So we hope so. You'd think at some point these crazy prices are going to have to level out, because it's not realistic, and these prices of £5,000 for a dog can't carry on forever. So at that point, dogs will probably start coming back in to rescue, but at that point they may be third hand, be on their third home. Or is it always going to be like this now? Have we got to a point where people have got used to rehoming their dogs privately? They just put them online because it's so easy. They don't have to bring them. They don't even have to get on a bus. A lot of people will say to us, I can't get on a bus to bring my dog to you, or they can't get to us. And they just sell their dog from home. So social media, Facebook groups, Nextdoor, a lot of people are now selling their dogs or giving their dogs away on Nextdoor apps. So is this the way forward? Maybe it's the end of the road for some rescues. I don't know. I think we'll probably see that in the next 3 months. Now people are going back to work, and people have bought dogs, and a lot of those dogs will have separation issues. So it's a really interesting question, and I think we'll see that in the next month or two. I'm just going to go to a couple more questions on chat. Hi, Dave. I can see Dave Twist on there. Dave is great. He's one of our volunteers at Kennels. He's been volunteering. He comes all the way by bus, and he's been coming in for a few years, and he adopted an older staffy from us after his other one died. I hope she's doing well, Dave. And yes, Dave has seen firsthand some of the dogs that come into us, and in what states they're in. But most of those dogs, you know, do end up going to really lovely caring homes. We do follow up obviously on all those dogs. Some people are a bit more sort of caring and sharing, and will send regular photos in when we have our events normally, which I'm sure a lot of you have been to. A lot of those dogs come back, and we do Rebecca does an adoptiversary every year, so that way we can keep in touch with people. Sadly, because we've been going for over 10 years, we now get on average, if you go on our Rainbow Bridge page, we probably get at least 2 or 3 emails a week from people of dogs that have died, because you know, dogs that might have come in 10 years ago might have already been 2 years old. So sadly, our Rainbow Bridge page is getting bigger and bigger, and we're getting calls back in at least twice a week from people whose dogs have sadly gone to that Rainbow Bridge. Angela, yes, Angela got Sassy Princess as a teenager, and you guys have done amazingly well. Thanks, guys. There's also a message from Nikki, who's one of our foster carers. And yes, of course, you met Frankie this week as she was going to the vets just to see, because she threw up, but she came back again today, sadly. And Nikki is great. She's one of our regular fosters, and she is, thumbs up everyone to Nikki. Her and her partner Joe have just taken in, they're fostering Troy and Storm, who you may have seen on our website. The 2 staffies, really good example of, we got a call from someone in a flat in Islington 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now. I've got 3 dogs. I'm in a flat. I can't keep them. They're barking. I rescued them from someone. So it turns out that I rang up the dog warden who in that area, who knew of this particular person, and said she's banned from having dogs. The council have banned her from having dogs, and he would collect them from her. So this is a typical example of someone who said, well, I rescued them. They obviously hadn't been out for probably 2 weeks. Their nails were really long. Apparently the flat was full of feces. They were really stressed. When we checked their chips, they were registered to someone in Essex who'd owned about 6 dogs. We asked the girl that gave them to us, who was well-meaning, ordinarily, you know, she meant well, and she said she met a guy on a pier in Southend, which was probably true because they were registered to someone in Southend, who had 6 dogs. One of the other dogs that came in with Storm and Troy was Little Man, another staffy called Little Man on the website, who's actually went to a new home this week. We think Little Man is Storm's son, and we think Troy's dad. So effectively, Storm and Troy are kind of, we call them husband and wife, and we don't know how many other puppies there were, but Storm, Nikki took Storm to the vets this morning. She's got mastitis, which means she'll need to have some mammary tumours removed from having probably so many puppies. Troy's teeth are horrendous. They're probably one of the worst teeth that the vet, Medivet, have seen. So he's going in for an emergency dental on Thursday. But the good thing is we're now with Nikki and Joe, and hopefully they will be going, once all that vet care has been done, they'll be going to new homes soon. I'm not sure, Dave, if you met those two, Dave Twist. Another message. Oh, that's great, Dave, that Bonnie lives with a cat. So well done. You've introduced them to a cat. So thanks for the update, and hopefully we'll be seeing you again soon, Dave. There's another message that has come in from Karen Rose, saying that her daughter would like to volunteer at kennels. Unfortunately, we've had to limit the amount of volunteers we can have at kennels during lockdown. So we've got Jason and Kaylee and some regular volunteers, but we're trying to stick to a bubble. I'm not sure how old your daughter is, Karen. We can't have volunteers under the age of 18 because of health and safety. And a lot of the dogs that do come in are quite powerful. They're unpredictable to start off with, and we haven't got any history. But please drop us an email directly and we'll see if we can help. Hi, Karen. I can see she's 16. So maybe when we have events on again, she can come and help at some of our events in that way. And hopefully in a couple of years' time, if she's still around and wants to volunteer, not at uni or anything, she'll be able to come and join us then. And thank you to all your messages for Frankie that are coming through as well. It's very sad, but she had 3 months of lots of love and care with her foster carers, Angela and Todd. So she probably had the best 3 months that she could have had, and her tail wagged. Sort of, even today her tail was wagging, but her body just packed up on her, sadly. Oh, good question, Debbie. Greyhounds. So, but going back slightly, I regress to the beginning of lockdown, we suddenly found our kennels were a little bit more emptier, and we got an email from the Greyhound Trust of Great Britain asking us if we'd consider taking some greyhounds in. We'd never taken greyhounds in because we were always full, and we, as a lot of you that will follow us know, we tend to do a lot more of the staffies and bull breeds. So we thought, okay, why not? Let's give it a go. It's great that Greyhound has now been regulated. So Greyhound rescue has been regulated. So there was some awful cases of a few years ago, there was a mass grave found in Ireland full of ex-racing greyhounds. And that got exposed, I think, on Panorama or one of these programs, and it's now all regulated, and all the ex-racers have to be tracked, and they have to be offered to rescue. They have an office. There's an office with someone who's got a specific job of offering all those ex-greyhounds out to different rescues. They have to go to rescues. They won't give them to Facebook groups or individuals from home. They've got to be registered charities. So we started off with 7 greyhounds. They came in, they went out on foster, they all went. And within 3 months, we took some more in because we still had space, and we rehomed, suddenly we'd rehomed 50 greyhounds last year. So from no greyhounds at all, they were quite hard to home because they're quite a specialist, but we rehomed 50 greyhounds. And actually, what was quite interesting, we said to the greyhound people, oh, we can take some more. And they said, well, actually, for the first time ever, we've run out of greyhounds because all the charities are taking them in and they're all going. So we got our first lot in this year. We took 6 in a month or 2 ago. Funnily enough, they've all gone out on foster. They're all lovely dogs, but we haven't actually homed them for some reason this year. They haven't been as popular for rehoming, but they've all gone into foster homes. All the fosters are great, and they're learning to be pets because, of course, greyhounds grow up in kennels. They're born, they start off in kennels, and all they know is a kennel. A lot of them need to be with another dog because they've always had a companion. We've also learned that they do something called they sleep with their eyes open. So you have to be really careful. We had a couple of bite incidents that people thought they were awake, went to stroke them, and they snapped because we didn't know, probably from being in kennels all their lives, they never relax completely. So if you stroke them and you bend down, they can snap. So we've learned a lot about greyhounds, but it's been great. We're just looking for permanent homes now for the 5 that we have left. Another question from social media. Oh, I missed that. Sorry, they're going too fast. Someone has sent a question in on about social media. Oh, Tony Edwards, close friend. Sorry, I've got Tony now. Adopted Albert from Greyhound. Fantastic. Thank you for letting us know. Debbie, fascinating. Yeah, the Greyhound thing is interesting. We've got Ian. Hi, Ian. He adopted Buddy 6 years ago in 2014. I know they've been great companions having dogs over lockdown. For those of us that had our dogs around, you know, they have been fantastic. There's massive pluses. And I can see for mental health and where people have been on their own, it's great. Someone sent a message, the end, I can only see the last bit, which says passing on dogs with a question mark. I'm not sure who that's from, but if you want to send that question in again, I will have a look at it because I can only see it's above Tony Edwards. So whoever that is, if you don't mind resending that question, I will come back to you on that. Right, Joe, we've got a question from the lovely Joe Amit, who is Hound. And by the way, I'm giving Joe a plug here. If any of you are into sort of vegan dog food, Hound have just launched a fantastic vegan dog food in a tin, which even my dog ate, who's really fussy. And Hound also do their amazing Hound shampoos. So sorry, I'm just going back to that last question. Sorry, Joe, I'll come back to you. Hi, Sam and Sugar, Leon Burger here. Hi, Sam and Sugar, the Leon Burgers. I think social media has a lot to answer for. Totally agree. I wonder if formally complaining to companies like Facebook has any effect. Would it perhaps be more complained? Do you have any contact with bigger social media companies, or get the impression that big social media companies have any sense of responsibility? So it's funny you say that, Sam. We've had a bit of a problem ourselves with a group on Facebook called Bring Nanella Home. Some of you may have seen. Nanella was a dog that came into us from the dog wardens. She wasn't chipped. She ended up on a train platform station in Tottenham, and we rehomed her. And then we suddenly got attacked by a group, not the owner, by a group that basically accused us of stealing the dog. The dog warden used the dog for fighting, all sorts of allegations that weren't true. And we complained to Facebook. We said, we're being threatened. Can you please do something? Because this group was also fundraising, and they were raising thousands of pounds to take us to court, basically. We didn't need to go to court because we hadn't done anything wrong. But it also means that people can raise money on a story online without anyone really knowing what they're raising money for. So we've tried Facebook a couple of times, not interested. And yes, I do personally blame social media for huge problems in dog world and in lots of areas. But yes, it's a huge problem for us. So really good question, and thank you for asking. And a couple of Hound fans, Joe. You got Angela, who Princess loves Hound. There you go. Maybe we can get some over to you, Angela. And Karen, if you want some of the new Hound food, we've got some here. We can send some to you. So guys, if any of you want to try the new Hound food, drop us an email tomorrow and we'll try and get some over to you. I'm sure Joe will. So going back to Joe. Joe is asking us about pets for homes. Yeah, I mean, we touched on pets for homes earlier. I personally, a bit extreme. I hate pets for homes. I just think it's a marketplace for people to make thousands of pounds. They don't give anything back to charities. We wouldn't deal with them. They did contact us, but we refused to give them any platform. It's an upmarket selling. It's very clever marketing because it sounds like pets at home, the retail supermarket who do support charities. Pets at home are great for charities. They donate large amounts of money each year. So very clever marketing from Pets for Home. There's no ethics whatsoever. It's not illegal to advertise on there. but Gumtree and Nextdoor as well. We touched on this slightly earlier, but we'd love to see those groups not being allowed to sell animals, cats, tigers, monkeys, snakes, anything. Live animals should not be sold online, full stop, end of, as far as I'm concerned. And Joe sent a message in. No, we do want to sell Hound because you support us. So no, we love Hound. So, but yes, they are, Pets for Homes are almost marketing. They're very clever with their wording, and people think they're adopting from Pets for Home. They're not. They're buying at the end of. You don't adopt a dog for £4,000. You adopt a dog for £200 to £250, but you don't adopt a dog for £4,000. So that's my view on Pets for Homes. If you're watching Pets for Homes, do something, try and regulate, and or at least try and offer some money from all you're making on your advertising to charities. An anonymous message here: do male dogs have issues caused being repeatedly used for stud? Well, again, I last time I looked on Pets for Homes, the first advert I saw, the first thing that came up was a Schnauzer being offered for stud for £800 ago. So yes, totally unethical. It's a marketplace for studding, selling, puppy farming, and yeah, you can stud on there basically. Talking of puppy farming, I'm not sure if Mark's on or not, but sadly, you know, Lucy's Law, great. Mark Abraham's worked really hard at that, getting put through legislation. It just sadly needs to be a bit more regulated, because the problem is the police haven't got the time to regulate it. Unfortunately, it's still going on. Message just coming from, hi Kelly, I've been meaning to ring you for a year, literally. I'm so sorry. Kelly is one of our fosters. She used to take all out before lockdown. Kelly can vouch, we used to get puppies in, and Kelly was fantastic. She'd always take them in at the last minute. But Kelly, we've had no puppies, so we're not ignoring you. And thank you for your kind words. And you've been, the fosters are amazing as well. Foster carers are, you know, sometimes at a drop of a hat will take a dog in, not knowing anything about it. They're often not house trained. They're stressed. Fosters can't sleep. They have to take them backwards and forwards to vets. So without our foster carers and our volunteers, you know, it would have been, generally it would be a lot harder, but particularly through lockdown, you're always there and you do an amazing job. So thank you to all the foster carers, and hopefully Kelly will speak to you soon. Right, let me just have a quick look and see what time we're on, and we've got a little bit of time. We've Pets for Homes, we've sort of gone through most of the subjects. So far this year, we have rehomed about 50 dogs, but normally we rehome about 25 to 30 a month. So figures are down, but not because we don't want to take them in. And I think you'll find that's across the board with most of the charities, because we're getting calls from people saying they've literally been trying to rescue a dog for 6 months, and they just can't get a dog. And you know, it's so upsetting for us and for them, because there's some amazing homes out there, but hopefully this that will change soon. Message just coming from Charlotte. Hi Charlotte, another amazing foster care of ours who had Frankie. Charlotte, did you have Frankie? No, I'm not sure. Did Charlotte have Frankie, Rebecca, to start off? No, you had Sammy and Sophie. Yeah, Charlotte on there had, I don't know if you guys, any of you remember, if you're addicted to our website and checking who's on there, we had 2 dogs called Sammy and Sophie that were also 2 really elderly staffies that had been locked in a flat for 3 weeks on their own. So at the beginning of lockdown, actually, there was an increase of dogs that were coming in that were coming in from the police, because they were found locked in flats where people weren't going into people's properties, and the owners had died. So Sammy and Sophie were 2 of those. They were literally starved. We don't know how they made it, but Charlotte and her partner took them in, and they both went to a lovely home. Charlotte had them for a while. They were like skeletons, but that was purely down to starvation. They went on drips. They got back together, but sadly, Charlotte, I think we emailed you, but Sammy died. He actually had a growth. Turned out he wasn't putting weight on, and he had cancer, and he also got put to sleep a few weeks ago. But Sophie is doing really, really well in her new home. So yeah, there was some good out of it. But we did see an increase of dogs being left in properties on their own at the beginning of lockdown, where people were too scared to go in, and people had died. So yeah. Karen. Oh, Karen knows Kelly. That's great. She was your dog foster parent. Oh, that's nice that you can say hi to each other online. Just going to a slightly nicer note. By the way, this big panel behind us on the right, these are all dogs that have been, some of you may see some of your dogs on there, it goes right down, but all these dogs on the right are dogs that have been adopted through us over the years, that people have sent photos in afterwards. So do send your photos in. We love photos and selfies. Events. So we're hoping that we may be able to do some outdoor events maybe towards the end of the year, August, September, possibly Victoria Dog Show, maybe our first one. So it'd be great to see you all again then. We're still selling our merchandise online. So if you go on our online shop, we're still selling our merchandise. So we've got some nice tops and t-shirts. We've got the Ricky Gervais did a t-shirt for us, which has been great. We've sold quite a lot of that. So Ricky has really helped us this month in terms of by designing a t-shirt. We've sold we've sold a lot of t-shirts through lockdown. And our shop, we've got a charity shop in Muswell Hill, and that will be reopening on the 12th. We're expecting we'll get a lot of stuff in, but what we'd like to, if possible, if anyone's got any sort of new items or anything designery, because we think where people haven't been shopping this year, we don't want to get sort of, without sounding ungrateful, people's leftovers, but any new stuff, that would be really great for the charity shop in Muswell Hill. I think there's a couple more questions, and then we're probably gonna wrap up. Oh, Angela, hi Angela again. We're behind you, third row down. Oh, okay, so Angela's dog is third row down. Princess. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I can see Princess. There she is. Is that Princess? Am I pointing to the right dog? Well, next row down. I think she was a red. Well, anyway, Angela, I think I pointed out to the right dog, but I'm really pleased that we managed to get Princess up there for you. So that's really nice. Hi, Princess. Okay. Any other questions before we go off? I think we've covered everything. Just like to thank everyone again, our staff at Kennels, Jason and Kelly, all our trustees. We're hoping to go back to normal. The office has been running on just 2 to 3 people through lockdown. So it's taking us a bit longer to get back to people if anyone has emailed in. But hopefully we'll be able to go back to normal and resume events. We're going to carry on taking dogs. It'll be interesting to see if more dogs will start coming in. And as we've all now got used to Zoom being a part of life, maybe we'll do online Zoom events every couple of months, just to see if people find it a better way of connecting. And it's a way of just sort of saying thank you to all of you that sort of have been supporting us. And any questions or that you want answered or are unsure about. I'm just going to see if there's anything. Joe, thank you, Joe. Victoria, oh, hi, Victoria. Thank you for talk. You rescued Flo. Oh, hi, Victoria. 7 years ago. That's great. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining. And Sam with her big fluffy monster who's asleep at her feet tonight. Debbie, thank you. And for all the dogs that we have lost this year, but great to know that they've all been loved and looked after by you all, and that they've had a second chance. And also thank you to Rebecca and Connor here that have been doing the questions for us. And we are recording this, so if anybody else wants to hear it again or got any other questions, we'll try and get back to them sort of through the course of the week. Hi Linda. Hi Poppy Beagle. Poppy Beagle, I haven't seen many beagles actually, but Poppy Beagles, as I'm sure Linda can tell you, are hard work, but she took on one of the most difficult ones, but fortunately managed to make it worth and is a real lover of beagles. Oh, Francine, sorry, one more question's come through. Can we do a quiz night? Francine's asking if we can do a quiz night. Possibly, yes, we haven't done a quiz night, so that's something we can look at. We just think that once things do open up again, people will be so desperate to go out that are we all going to be zoomed out? But yes, we may look at doing. Rebecca, what do you think? Quiz nights, Connor? Yeah, okay. Well, we might do a doggy themed quiz. Not sure when, but if any of you that are watching have got questions you could think of, around a quiz, and we'll probably stick to a dog-ish themed quiz. We will try and do that. So thank you for joining. We think we've had about 50 people tonight, so it's great for you all to have joined us. And anything that we've missed out on, please feel free, send your comments in and we'll try and get back to you. One more questions, last questions just come in. Just wondering if there are any other Greyhound fosters in the northeast of London that want to connect to dog walking from Victoria. Yes, we've actually got 3 of the Greyhounds are in North London. We've got Finsbury Park, that sort of area. We've got Paddy, we've got Melvin, and we have got, there's one more, Fizzy's in South, anyone in South London. We've got Fizzy in South London. And but yeah, we have got a couple in North London if anyone wants to meet up with the Greyhounds, because it's really, really good to socialise them because we can't let them off lead. Or if anyone's got a great big garden they want a Greyhound to run around in, that's great. Dave Twist is also doing a 100-mile run. Anyone on there, we've got about 20 people signed up to do a 100-mile run for us. Dave's one of them. So thank you for everyone doing the 100-mile run and walk for us. And Paddy, Lisa, hi. So Lisa's on here. Lisa's one of the Greyhound people. Lisa's fostering Paddy, who you'd have seen on the website, and she's in North London. So if anyone wants to meet up with Lisa, we can put you guys in touch. So maybe we can do that tomorrow. And thank you for offering Angelica. That's really nice of you. So I think at that point we're going to sign off. It was great to see you all, not in person, but sorry you've had to look at my boring face for the last hour. But thank you, and yeah, maybe we'll do this again soon. Bye everyone. Bye. Right, I'm going to close that and